Hey, Eric.
Hey, John. How are you?
I'm doing well, doing well. Yeah, little tired, but what's new?
Same. You know, it's been a busy week, and I even technically had a vacation this weekend. We'll call it technically. Um,
Most people don't
we
call
went.
weekends their vacation.
Fair
No, no,
point.
that's right. That's right.
Uh,
You
Fair
did.
point. We did. We went camping.
Uh-huh.
So, and my wife, who is not much of a camper, we had some. So the backstory, and she knows I'm telling the story, is the backstory is we had some friends who said, "Hey, you should come camping with us," and my wife was, "No, I'm not much of a camper, but if you got me a yurt, I'd go because they were going to go get a bunch of campsites together, so we could have all these campsites together." And I think my lovely wife was, that's how I'm going to get out of camping, by saying yes without saying yes, by asking, "Hey, if you can find us a yurt, we'll come." And like a week later, they called back and said, "We found you a yurt. You can come camping with us." But it was all good. And so it was in Lincoln City, just I almost in downtown Lincoln City. Basically, it's Devil's Lake Campground. So
Yep.
there's a lake that you can go out that's right next to the ocean, and you can walk to the beach. You can walk out on a pier, and anyways, it's a lot of fun. But it was a yurt, so we had other friends who were in tents around us, and we were in the yurt, and we had power and heat, and it was, despite it being very hot this past week, it was pleasant at the coast. So
I was gonna say, when it's hot in the valley, it's decent normally being out at the coast.
yeah, it was almost a little chilly at night. Um,
Wow.
but it was a lot of fun. So we went camping 2 days. We went Thursday night, spent most of Friday and most of Saturday out there, and drove up to on Saturday on the way home. Drove up to Tillamook, did our pilgrimage to the cheese factory,
Okay,
and got
okay.
some more cheese. Because that's what you do.
Uh-huh.
Um, Ice cream and cheese, and came home. It was all in all, it actually was a very pleasant weekend, and it was just me and her. We left the kids at home. They had to work
Uh-huh.
Friday, so it
So
was
prelude of what's to come.
exactly. The boy is a senior. Well, next year we'll have a empty nest, although I don't think it'll be an empty house. I
Right.
I get the feeling we'll still have uh, offspring occupying the house. That's all good though. How about you? What'd you do this weekend?
Oh, well, so it's not winter, not even really fall yet, but we're looking ahead, and my wife was like, sometime last week, my wife was like, you know, if we could borrow that bobcat, that would be good.
Ah,
So I texted a friend, phone a friend, uh, who
your Bobcat friend.
has a bobcat, or has
Mm-hmm.
a bobcat staying at his place that I could borrow. And so he's like, yeah, you can, but my trailer currently has 6,000 pounds of solar panels on it, so you'd have to bring your own trailer. I'm like, well, that's cool. So I took my trailer up there. We loaded the bobcat up, and he's obviously doing a solar install at the moment, but
Right.
so hopefully I'll go help him at some point with some of that. Um, but anyway, so we got it, and so most of a good chunk of Saturday and Sunday was mostly my wife doing the bobcat, but I did all the hand shoveling that had to be done to kind of clear stuff out. But so that was
Mm-hmm.
that was a lot of good stuff. So I puttered around while she was driving stuff, and I mowed, and I did some other outside stuff. I did the bees, et cetera, et cetera. But then the other thing that happened this weekend, and then we returned it Sunday night. But then the other thing that happened this weekend was, I think it was like Friday night or something like that. I had started the dishwasher, like, and then, some number of hours later, I went up. Maybe this was for Friday dinner. I'd started at Friday during the day or something like that. And then Friday at dinner time, I went up to empty the dishwasher, and the little packet of detergent and stuff was completely bone dry. But the panel was opened inside, and I was like, well, that's weird. Something happened. Something must have happened. And so I tried to hit start again and just run it again, and it wouldn't start. So I ran it through a drain cycle, and then it would start again. So I started it again, and it was making a noise. and so I was like, so Saturday,
How
I
many
think it was
trips to
Saturday
Lowe's?
morning. Well, I just called the appliance repair. I was like, come fix my
Okay.
dishwasher, please. Well, that's not quite true, because I did first watch a YouTube video, and the first YouTube video I watched
I knew
had
it.
them like
I knew
taking
it.
out the whole dishwasher, laying it on its face, and like doing, replacing I think it was called an inlet valve on the back. And I was like, well, that ain't happening. So I called the appliance place, but they couldn't be out here till like, for like a week and a half. So I think it was going to be the 30th or 31st of August. And this is the most first of first world problems, right? Like, oh, heaven forfend, you will have to wash dishes by hand for a week and a half. So we mostly did for like a day, which is like 2 loads of dishes, if that, except that the whole dishwasher was full. And anyway,
Sure.
so come Saturday afternoon / evening, I think, as I was like, okay, now I'm done. I'm sitting on my butt for a few hours. I was like, well, let me see. Actually, I flipped up to YouTube, and they had a suggestion for another thing that I was like, oh, well, that looks promising. So I watched that video, and in that video, the inlet valve was like literally right in front on the dishwasher. And I was like, oh, well, is it in the back or is it in the front? So I go in the kitchen, and I get on my hands and knees, and I take off the little faceplate down at the bottom, and I'm like, hey, look, it's right in the front. Okay, so, well, how much is it on Amazon? Like $18, 18 something. Call it $19, I guess. I was like, So I feel a little bad because I didn't order it. I was like, him and I already had the appointment, and is it right? And I couldn't.
Right.
Anyway, there were some other complicating things that I was lazy, but then I had to do dishes again, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm not that late, so I ordered it, but sorry, I guess the complicating thing was I could not figure out how to turn off the water to the dishwasher because anyway, it's like down inside a cabinet, and they did like a shark bite, like right on the end of a plug because it was a kitchen remodel thing, and I was like, well, whatever. I'll have to turn off the whole water to the house, and then that's fine. I'll do that, but I don't want to do that until I had the part in hand. So anyway, the nice thing is that the part came on Tuesday. It took me about a half hour to install it. It didn't leak, and the dishwasher runs. So I called the I guess that was just yesterday, Tuesday, because we're recording this on Wednesday. So I called the appliance place back today and said, "Hey, I messed around with my dishwasher. I got it to work. You can cancel my appointment." I didn't tell them that I had replaced a part or anything, but
I bought a part on Amazon for $18. I'll call you in a month.
Well, right?
Sorry.
But I mean, the thing is that if they had been able to say, "Oh, awesome, we'll be there on Monday," like.
Yeah.
$300. Sure. I don't know, like whatever.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Usually,
it would have been like $200
just to roll a truck or something
exactly.
like that. Exactly.
$100 for the thing, and like they charged me $50 for the part, and I'm sure I'd have been into it for $250, but it would have been fixed, and I would have been perfectly happy to have spent the money. But instead, It was a long, dark look ahead of a whole week of dishes
of dishwashing, and you were
by
like,
hand. And
opportunity
I'm like,
cost. You're doing
this
math.
this is so not happening if I can avoid it. So, but there we go.
That's funny.
I have now I have now run 2 loads through the dishwasher. I put a little paper towel underneath the inlet where I had to screw it all back on, make sure I got it tight enough. It wasn't leaking. It's all
Right.
good. Yeah.
Well, good.
So we'll see.
Well, good. So great. This actually kind of segues slightly into my follow-up.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
I'll just jump right into follow-up here.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you're a little confused there.
I was a little confused. Like, what are we talking about dishwashers for?
No. We have talked about right to repair a lot.
Yes. It's a bit of a hot topic for me.
It's a topic that we discuss a lot. On and off the
Tractors.
podcast, I would be able to fix things. I own, it's my thing. I bought it. I should be able to fix it. Well, historically, tech companies, Apple in particular, have been very much against this whole right to repair. They make their phones almost impossible to take apart.
Impossible. Yeah.
Without wrecking them, right? It's just unpleasant. As much as I am an Apple fanboy, I suppose. I don't know if that's still a word. Kids still say that these days.
Boy.
Right. So, but Apple, so California, state of California, because it's what they do. They have a law working its way through the system called California's Right to Repair Act. So Apple, in a somewhat unexpected move, expressed support for California's Right to Repair Act. And I think a lot of people, myself included, were like, all right, what's the catch?
What?
What loophole did Apple see in this right to repair? Or did they just kind of, saw the oncoming headlights and said, well, we can either step aside or get run over? Anyway, so in the letter, so there's a TechCrunch article about Apple expresses its support on the grounds of offering consumers the ability to repair their devices safely without risking privacy or data issues. Because Apple has historically said, we don't want to give this away because privacy issues, because data issues. It's like, well, it's the same thing if they repair it through you, But so the company made the company statement actually says, Apple supports California's Right to Repair Act so all Californians have even greater access to repairs while also protecting their safety, security, and privacy. We create our products to last, and if they ever need to be repaired, Apple customers have a growing range of safe, high-quality repair options. So, unexpected, but, I'm sure there is an asterisk somewhere. Right? Apple, if you want to be an authorized Apple reseller, and there's all the warranty stuff. If you have it repaired by someone out of, that's not an authorized reseller, then it's out of warranty and all these other things. So I feel like they probably just saw the headlights at the end of the tunnel and said, well, let's just step aside here. So anyways, there you go. Use YouTube and repair your dishwasher. Eventually, you can use YouTube and repair your own iPhone. Although I've actually repaired several of my own iPhones. The iFixit website is great for Mac repair stuff. And they sell the tools to actually open iPhones.
Oh. I haven't touched an iPhone.
Oh, I've torn several apart, especially when they either got ruined or cracked and used tools. I replaced the battery in one while you're showing me your original iPhone. Oh, there is a company. Maybe I should do this my something fun too. There's a company that I just want the frame. So they create frames and they explode. They take apart the iPhones and have all the parts of the iPhone and like directions. And it's like Apple original iPhone. It's like $400. I'm like, just give me the PDF file. I'll print it out myself, and then I can take apart my phone and, put all the parts, here's the camera, here's the screen, here's the battery. Well, actually, I don't think you throw out the battery because that's dangerous. But, the button, the home button, where all the parts of the phones go. Yeah, I have my
there was a
iPhone
camera
in a
on
box
that.
somewhere too.
I was going to say, I don't think the first one had a camera, but I lied.
Yep.
Look at that. It totally does.
Yeah.
It also has a
Yeah.
big dent on the back of it. I think that was original. I don't know if you could see that.
I strangely enough, my original iPhone, has a similar dent in roughly the same spot. I don't know what that is for. Anyways, there you go. Right to the repair. Apple backing the California law, so I expect that to probably proliferate across. I think the article mentions there are 14 other states with similar bills, so I'm suspecting Apple just finally said, all right, whatever.
That's awesome.
We give. So there you go. That's awesome. That's my follow-up for the week and my segue from your dishwasher repair.
Nice segue. I will say that I bought my son a laptop from Apple, Mac Pro.
For college?
MacBook Pro, I guess. Yeah, for college. On I don't know. We're doing a bit of an experiment because the college says you should buy a PC because there's all this software that you might need to run, and I'm like, how about we get you a MacBook Pro with 32 gigs of memory and buy Parallels?
There you go.
So that's what we did. But if for some reason it doesn't work, then I will have a new MacBook Pro in about 2 months.
John, fingers crossed. It's not going to work.
I don't know. Yeah.
Buy a $600 Dell and, Anyways.
I don't know. Anyway. Yeah,
right.
funny. Okay. Well, nice segue. What about a topic? What topic did you bring tonight?
All right. So my topic is continuing with the tech thing. This is from the BBC and also kind of what governments is doing, continuing the government regulation stuff. So in the UK, they have an online safety bill. I think we've mentioned it before, which has perfectly valid goals. They claim it's aimed at protecting children and lays down a bunch of strict rules about policing social media content, big financial penalties and prison time for tech execs who fail to comply. And one of the clauses that's most controversial is the one that says you have to grant law enforcement unencrypted messages. So, all these platforms have the encrypted messages, and a lot of them, like WhatsApp and Signal, they couldn't decrypt them if they wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that this bill is just making its way through Parliament in the UK, regardless of what's going on there. There's a number of different threats, I guess, from big tech, especially the big tech U.S. companies, to the point it's being referred to as a tipping point. They're like, if you want to do this, rather than cripple our product, we're just going to pull out of the UK. So WhatsApp and Signal have basically said, all right, fine, we'll pull out of the UK if this law goes into effect. Apple has basically said, well, we'll pull FaceTime and iMessage from users in the UK. So they'll still have their phones there. You just won't be able to use FaceTime and iMessage. And some of the things here is, I'll read some of the quotes here. All this legislation has been going through Parliament in a manner that seems to technical experts not particularly well informed, and is putting at risk some of the services that people in this country value very highly. If UK lawmakers don't understand tech, there are experts willing to advise, but many of those feel ignored. Professor Alan Woodward is a cybersecurity expert at the University of Surrey who has worked in various posts at GCHQ, the UK's Intelligence, Security and Cybersecurity Agency. Quote, so many of us have signed letters, given formal evidence to committees, directly offered to advise, and either the government doesn't understand or doesn't want to listen, he said. And my closing quote for you, which is I enjoy this quote, is ignorance combined with arrogance is a dangerous mix. And
that is a very good quote.
That's true for more than just this. So, anyways, I'm hoping,
universal truth.
Yes, it's a universal truth. I'm hoping my friends in the UK do not have to lose access to WhatsApp, FaceTime, Signal, all these social media things that just they can't.
How in the world do you wind up, like I would imagine, don't allow it to be downloaded, don't allow it to be installed, but, at what point does somebody just, grab a VPN connection, connect via to some other country, download the app and install it? Like,
Sure.
It's
hard to police. It's going to be impossible to police.
Yeah. Well, and I didn't realize you were going to do this, and maybe I don't know if it's worth looking up a link or not, but something similar. I remember reading sometime in the last week or two where with Canada had put in a law that said that the social media sites had to share revenue with news organizations. And so Facebook won't allow posting of links to news articles in Canada. And so there was, I remember reading an article, I think it was regarding the wildfires in Canada, where, the government was asking Facebook to, relax its hold on that because people were having to post, pictures of news articles because they couldn't post the links and in order to try and get friends and family who were in areas, et cetera, to information, which,
yeah. There's
what is the unintended consequences?
Yeah. The no good deed goes unpunished is another of my favorites.
Exactly. So, I mean, I can, I'm fully cognizant of the, let's say, trouble given the decline of journalism, and avenues for journalism in, paid areas. But,
yeah,
in my mind, that started a long time ago. So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yep.
So it's worth paying for good journalism. So do that.
Yes, it is.
Okay. My topic, it's been a while since we had a Krebs article on here. So I was like, hey, what should I talk about tonight? And kind of browsed to a couple of my favorite things and newsletters I've gotten and stuff. And I chose the latest Krebs article because I think it's a very pragmatic approach to. This is more on the enterprise side, enterprise security, but it's basically an article advocating for the use of canary tokens. So but it starts off with a quote that says, in large metropolitan areas, tourists are often easy to spot because they're far more inclined than locals to gaze upward at the surrounding skyscrapers. Security experts say this same tourist dynamic is a dead giveaway in virtually all computer intrusions. Right? Because it's, reconnaissance. So it's somebody gets into the network and then they're like, well, what machine am I on? What machines are around me? Et cetera. So, the next kind of quote I pulled out was from Cisco's Hazel Burton that says one of the most important things to talk about here is dot 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 dot. Threat actors are taking these types of first steps that someone who wants to understand and control your environment would take. Examples we have observed include threat actors performing a show config, show interface, show route, show ARP table, show CDP neighbor. All these actions give the attackers a picture of a router's perspective of the network and an understanding of what foothold they have. So, I mean, that's the kind of the whole point is, put some fake credentials in a place, and then if those credentials are ever used, that's a trigger. I'll jump ahead a little bit to the end of some of the things that Thinks Canary can do, but things like a web token, designed to alert whenever a particular URL is visited. A DNS token alerts when a host name is requested. An AWS token alerts when a specific AWS service key is used. A custom exe token, which is used whenever a specific file is run. Sensitive command token, whenever a suspicious Windows command is run. And Microsoft Excel/Word token, which alerts when a specific Excel or Word file is accessed, etc., etc. So the idea is to lay, so a token, a canary token is, something that when the document is open, I don't know, you can kind of think of it. In fact, it's very similar to like a tracking pixel on a web page, right? Whenever the web page is run, that loading that image,
pixel,
the pixel, or is causes a side effect to happen. That is the loading of that image now has a web log on some server that says, hey, this image was accessed from X IP address at X time, et cetera, et cetera. You can do the same thing, in a script, in a document, in a file, et cetera, et cetera. So
there's a reason they're called canary tokens.
Canaries in the coal mines.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
Google it, youngins.
Coal is what we still burn for power today, somehow in 2023. I don't know what to say about that. But, what else did I pull out of here? Here, I really like this quote too. Many people have pointed out there are a handful of commands that are overwhelmingly run by attackers on compromised hosts and seldom by regular users. Reliably alerting when a user on your code-signed server runs whoami.exe can mean the difference between catching a compromise in week 1 before the attackers dig in and learning about the attack on CNN. So, you would have to think that. There was a quote. There was a quote in the article, although I don't think I pulled it out. That was talking to a red teamer that was like, yeah, the prevalence of canary tokens in mature environments means actually, here it is. The concept of use of canary tokens has made me very hesitant to use credentials gained during an engagement versus finding an alternative means to an end goal. If the aim is to increase the time taken for attackers, canary tokens work very well. Because you're basically like closing off the easy paths and forcing them down the hard paths.
Right.
For how to do things. Or I guess another way of putting that is, you'll catch the run of the mill people easier. So anyway, it's a good article. Canary tokens, if you're not familiar with them, are a great findings. I actually had to look at this article a couple times, kind of make sure there wasn't a sponsored by on it, because there was a little bit of marketing on it. It felt kind of markety on it, but it is a really cool and good use, and there's a lot of stuff that they make available for free too. So you can certainly do a lot of stuff, for low or no cost. So
Yep.
Although obviously they do have, um, for charge services as well. But anyway, there you
Yeah.
go. That was my topic for today.
Cool. Well, today, a very exciting day for a large population of
Oh,
humans on the planet.
did it land? Did it land?
Yeah. So
I didn't.
today, the Chandrayaan-3 lunar lander landed successfully on the moon. So India has now landed spacecraft on the moon. So high fives, congratulations to India. They have landed a spacecraft on the moon, and they have a rover that's going to wander around the southern polar region of the moon. I don't know how long they expect to roam around, but anyways, there you go. That's exciting. So there's a video. So the article will be the New York Times. Speaking of paying for good journalism, New York Times articles. One's a video of the actual. We don't have the video of the landing. They have the mission control and talking, and the Prime Minister of India watching it, mission control and listening, and the announcement that we have achieved soft landing on the moon. India is on the moon. So, congratulations.
Wow.
Go
I
watch
knew
that.
this.
Read the
I knew
article.
this was coming. I don't know. I didn't see this today. I guess I
Yeah.
haven't been on the news today at all.
Well,
But
I was on a call with some of our friends early this morning, and their team's background was this, because this happened at 6 p.m. India time Wednesday, which would have been 6 a.m. Is that right? 6
been
p.m.
5:30 a.m. our time.
5:30 a.m. our time
Pacific. Yeah.
on Tuesday.
12
I
and a
guess.
half, I think, at the moment.
So, yeah. So, awesome. Good stuff. So,
Oh, very
congratulations.
cool.
It was a lot of fun. Anyways, it was a great article. Just kind of goes through, and there's a video that goes with it. You probably don't even need to read this specific one on New York Times. You could probably Google it and find tons of articles about it. So, very cool. That's my something fun for today.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. I'll have to go look and see once. I assume they'll have some images and video downloaded and that they'll post.
Yep. I'm sure they will.
Oh, very cool. Okay, very cool. Very cool. Very cool. Okay, so one of the other things I did this weekend was my something fun. One of the other things I did this weekend was I read Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, which you asked me a couple of times whether I had read it yet, and I had not, and I had not, and I had not, and so finally I picked it back up and I read it. And I liked it. I liked it a lot. It was
Isn't
very
it a cute story.
It was a cute story. It was a quick read. Didn't take. I mean, I don't know. I'm not even sure if it took 2 nights to read. It might have all just been one night. But so I totally enjoyed it. Totally enjoyed it. That's not my something fun because we've kind of talked about it a couple of times. Have you ever seen the movie Your Name?
I have not.
Okay, because as I was reading the book, I was like, this totally reminds me of Your Name. And I was going to tell you about that, but I didn't quite know how it was going to end,
right.
et cetera, how, if it was going to be similar on that. But it did not, there was a lot of differences too, and it didn't end the same in any way, really the same way that Your Name did. But then I read in the afterwards, Brandon Sanderson called out Your Name twice as one of the inspirations. And I was like, oh, well, see, I'm cool. So yes, I don't watch much, but my kids have watched some, have sat me down and made me watch some good anime. That is awesome. So I'm sure that your daughter has seen it. You should talk to her. You can borrow the Blu-ray if you want. But
I will mention to her, because I've been trying to get her to read some of these, and she's hasn't. So, but I'll say, hey, Your Name. I'll have to ask her.
I guarantee you. I will buy lunch for you next lunch if she has not seen it. Anyway, it's a great movie. I really enjoyed it. And obviously reading the book reminded me of it, and I wanted to say that. So I actually was like, did I use Your Name as something fun at some point? Because I remember really, really, really liking the movie when I first saw it a number of years ago. Turns out I looked just before this in order to get the link. It came out in 2017, so it's not that old.
Okay.
But really good. So there you go. So there's my something fun video. Your Name. It's set in Japan. There's a comet that's gonna crash, and it's also kind of this pairing of boy and a girl, and all sorts of
Freaky Friday stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of body swapping. Anyway, very, very good show. Very Fun. Good show. And I really enjoyed the book. But there you go.
Well, cool.
Okay.
Yeah. I used the weekend to finish the first 3 books of Mistborn. So I
very good.
That was my other thing I did this weekend so I've reread all 3 and enjoyed them again. So
okay. Well, now you got to read the second series.
Yeah. No. Yeah. That's next on my list.
All right. Is a deal.
All right, John.
All right, Eric. Have a great night. I will talk to you later.
Always fun. I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.